live post show. Right after watching John Cena tell us he wants to talk about everything but Vince McMahon because he's talked about it already. He's doing 40 dates next year, so WrestleMania is not his last match. It's just his last WrestleMania, which is good to know. He plans on going from January to December. So basically, he plans on working in some form or fashion with WWE the entire year of 2025. And then we started podding. So I don't know who is on the post show right now, but we are live on Saturday night. If you are listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, you are listening or watching on YouTube on Sunday or maybe even Monday. Some of y'all watch late. We got to get y'all either watching live or semi-live as soon as we drop on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever else the podcasts are all at. But we are here to talk about Money in the Bank. This is That's Freaking Wrestling. We are Three the Hard Way. I am your host, Matt, joined by my co-hosts, Brodizia and Ishan, the best kept secret in wrestling podcasts. I say that because that's what we are right now. Y'all get the word out for us, though. Shout out to all of our freaks out there that support the pod each and every week, twice on every week. Or if you are watching us on Twitter and you are a tweet fan, we appreciate you. If you're on Instagram, we appreciate you. If you leave comments on YouTube, we appreciate you. So we love you guys. As I always talk about, leave thumbs up, comments, and all that kind of good stuff on these videos. It helps us out. Where are we starting at? Because we could probably start in a lot of different places. I know one place we probably should not start, and I'm not even going to say it yet because I don't want to give away what I thought was maybe the worst part of the show. But what tickles y'all fancies? Where would you like to begin?
I would have said Cena, but I think you did a pretty damn good job with just encompassing everything that happened and what he said, and even on a press conference. So we're going to have Cena all next year. That's a great thing for us Cena fans. It sounds like he's not trying to take anybody's spot. He knew that he is playing from the very bottom. And he's going to work his way up to the top. I'm excited for that. And again, I said this a few months ago, how blessed and grateful I am to have seen John Cena very first match, and God willing to be able to see him have his last match on his own. And he's not going out from like a career-ending injury like we've seen with a lot of our favorites. So for me, this is like a full circle, full career that I've got to experience. So I'm super excited.
Not excited.
Are you going to miss him? You're going to miss him?
I got to be honest with y'all. Look, I've been up since like 6 o'clock in the morning, so y'all getting a grumpy E. The man's been semi-retired for the past 5 years. We're going to have him for a whole nother year. He ain't dying. He'll be around some capacity for a long time. Yeah.
He said he's ending his in-ring. Next year will be the end of his in-ring.
He'll be around in some capacity, he said.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He said for years to come.
Yeah. So I will get to see him and his ball spot for quite some time. So,
exciting. Someone is crabby.
That's hilarious.
Yikes. Johnson ain't doing nothing to you for you to be all crabby on him. Yikes.
You know who did do something to me?
Who was that?
Bullshit ass pay-per-view that I had to sit here and watch. This is probably like the worst. I'm just gonna get right into it because we kind of slowing down already. This is like one of the worst pay-per-views I've seen from them in a long ass time.
You say we're slowing down. I haven't given my Cena thoughts yet, so let me get my Cena thoughts. So
how you gonna say how we gonna go? Where we gonna start? And you ain't gave your comments up. You've been talking for a minute. Go ahead. Let me know we can get to the show.
Okay, we will.
Go to sleepy. We'll holler at you on Wednesday.
Yeah, go do something.
Where are we gonna start? And we still talking.
We love you.
Where are we gonna start? But we still talking about Cena. Go ahead.
Bye. Love you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time, buddy. So I think it's really, really cool that he's able to actually do like a retirement tour. You know, we were talking about it a little bit ago. I think outside of Jushin Liger, no one else has really done a retirement tour. You know, like typically it's, all right, you're told you got to retire. So like you just stop wrestling, or you're old and you got to go. So, all right, it's time for me to hang it up. And I think he's in that sweet spot where hopefully he can still go in the ring. Last year was not the best for him in ring, but hopefully he can still go in the ring. And if they know that, okay, this is his plan to come back, I am sure he knows he's not going to destroy his legacy. He doesn't want to destroy his legacy. So whatever they put in front of him, if that is he wins the Rumble and he gets a shot of being the 17-time champ at WrestleMania. If it's not that, and if it's throughout this year, let's pick one young talent to get over. But then we're going to revisit some of the old rivalries that we would be excited for. I think either way, I think it's going to be good. I saw a couple people asking on Twitter during the show, like, who do you want him to wrestle at WrestleMania? Now, it's probably a little bit different because now we know that's not his last match, but it is his last WrestleMania.
Sure. So on that stage,
what's your guys'
absolutely.
thoughts? Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? Seeing if we look at it like WrestleMania is his last major match, we know his last match is going to be the match. But if you say, all right, if he works until December, that's his last match, but WrestleMania is going to be the second biggest match, who would you guys want to see him work?
Because he said that he committed to the end of the year, it makes my answer change a little bit. Because, of course, I'm going to say go with somebody like Braun. Go with somebody, again, who is young, that you are about to put your final stamp of approval, baton passing to. But because we're talking about that's April, and now we have until December, we could probably get a dream match off, or another, maybe not a dream match, but get a get back. So he even said he has some unfinished business with people. Maybe get something like that at Mania. And then as we get into the SummerSlam and wrap up the year, he can put over a young talent. So I would say initially a young talent, but because we know he still has a good 6, 7, 8 months after that, maybe just like a redo, a get back, and get some like nostalgia there for us.
He's never been my favorite wrestler. I respect the man. I'm uninterested. He can wrestle the fleas in the ring for all I care, to be honest with you.
Dang, cold.
I'll probably go. Now that we know we got him to December, give him the damn Rumble win, and let him wrestle the champ. And I don't know if they want to give him that title and then he drops it, but we have to see him in Orton again. That's big on my list. Like if WrestleMania was his last match, that's probably who I would have said was him and Orton. But give me Orton. I don't know how Orton will get the title by that time, but give me Orton.
Okay. I'm not just. I'm uninterested in seeing Randy Orton or him wrestle anybody. To be honest with you, man. I'm like,
that's crazy.
He's been semi-retired for the past 5 years, in my opinion. He's been losing every single match. I'm not up for him for his last look. It's just me. He's just never been my guy. He's never been my guy. Actually, I respect what he does. I mean, to be on top for that long, he was probably one of the. I mean, aside from Roman Reigns, when he ascended, he's probably like the last big superstar we had in that company. But he never was for me. Never was for me.
Well, he's one of my GOATs just for how long he was on top for. So I'm excited. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for the TV they're going to be able to do with him being there. So with that being said, Ishan, what has your panties in a bunch to where you are upset to even have to record this podcast after the show?
He said the whole damn show.
Whole show was terrible. Man, it started with that we thought might have been the main event. Damian and I'm forgetting their names right now. And Seth, right? You called it, Matt. You spoke up that horrible finish, and we got it. Like, it was a bad idea when you said it, and it was even worse when I saw it. What a terrible match! And then what an obvious blotch to start that whole segment. Like, obvious blotch. I don't know. Hey, God bless Damian. I don't know if he was injured or something like that. I don't know why he didn't kick out. Maybe he was shook. I don't know, man. I thought that was just strange that he didn't kick out, or he didn't. Maybe they're expecting the interference to happen sooner. Maybe that's what he was listening for. I have no idea, but it was just like one of the worst things I've seen from that company. I'm like, you guys are some professionals, ain't you? And then that finish happened. I just thought it was like just a terrible thing. What a waste for him to cash in and not get the championship. And we can't get like some people. And I wrote down before the whole thing started, when we kind of thought that Jay wasn't going to win. I'm tired of Jay losing these big moments. Like, I almost can't trust Jay.
Like, he's where Drew was this time last year.
Or LA Knight.
Well, not LA Knight, because LA Knight hasn't gotten world championship shots outside of the
okay, get it, but I'm talking about the engagement from us.
Drew had lost 11 world title shots. in a row.
Damn.
He's
Damn.
where Drew was this time last year.
Damn.
You put him on the poster of the show, and we talked about it. I think all three of us said we wanted Jay to win.
But we knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
but
in real time, I was thinking.
I don't know why I was so irritated by it. I don't know why I was so irritated by it, because we talked about it. We knew it wasn't going to happen. But I'm like, damn, he got so much energy, and he didn't win. But going back to that match, man, that just was a travesty.
Well, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The ending really, that ending sucked, and not the ending of Punk. I thought that was fantastic. The ending of the botch of the count, and the reason why it sucked so bad was because it completely took you out of the match as soon as it happened. And then you immediately have Drew come out. So watching the match, and I told Radish after like giving maybe like 60 seconds to kind of think about what I just watched, because I was sitting there dumbfounded, and not dumbfounded in regards to the referee should have counted 3 and Damian didn't kick. I'm dumbfounded in the perspective of what were they trying to do? I don't think Damian's, some people online was like, Damian's concussed. I don't think he's hurt at all. I think what happened was, and it was a timing issue with the audio guy. I think Drew's music was supposed to hit before that count started. And I think the story they were trying to tell was Seth hits the big move, Drew comes out. So at that point, Drew screws Seth because I had him beat. What some people think happened of Priest just not kicking out doesn't make sense to that story, because he can't kick out. Because if he kicks out, then Seth doesn't have a leg to stand on from a Drew perspective.
Right.
So then that music should hit. We get the quick, 10-second sequence with Seth and Drew, and then Damian Priest comes in. Great. We got the work going. Now we got the Punk situation. And now Seth can say he was also screwed by CM Punk. So Seth's story is, I was screwed by both of these guys who weren't even in the match. Well, with the way it went down, he didn't get screwed at all. So I even tweeted, I said, the story that they can tell, they want to tell, they still can tell it. It's not going to have that same bite to it, but damn, did it take you out of that match? Because you're looking like, yo, it's a 3 count. So you go from thinking like, okay, who messed up to what happened? Like I said, and Drew comes out and then Punk comes out. So they still do the business. And I thought Punk came out looking great with Drew, but it took me out of the moment for sure.
I'm not going to come up here and try to say, oh, that match was incredible. I'm not going to do that. What I took before the whole botch was that over these last several weeks, we actually had, or at least for me, we had a lot of good mic interactions between both Seth and Damian. Probably some of the best Damian work as being the champion. And it was interestingly surprising to me, because I'm like, y'all had some good chemistry on the mic these several weeks. And in a ring, it just seemed a little bit off. Is it because Seth had been gone for some time? And I don't know, because usually we know Seth doesn't have a bad match. And we know Damian puts on B at lowest type matches as far as like the work itself. So I thought the match just was like a little bit off. Then again, don't need to belabor the part there where the botch happened. But for me, what I took out of that whole match, and I wrote this down, the only good thing that happened out of that entire match was that passion and anger that we saw in Seth toward Punk. And I know right now Drew has to kill Punk first, and then Punk is going to have to be resurrected and come back again before Seth can fight him and face him. But when they finally do get their time to go at it, oh, it's going to be fireworks. So for me, outside of a terrible botch and just some, I don't even call it clunkiness, but just kind of what's happening here, the best thing that came out of it is that seed that they planted 4 months down the line.
I think we get a triple threat now.
Okay.
With Seth, Drew, and Punk at SummerSlam, which I'm here for. That's fantastic. Unless there is some type of rabbit out of the hat they have ready for Seth. And by that, I mean, is there a free agent coming up that can come in and can work Seth? Because nothing else makes sense. He's not an icy picture at all. The people he's been beefing with, their matches are counted for now. Now we know we're getting Damian and Gunther. Punk and Drew are selling their thing. Put him in there. And you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And typically, I like triple threat matches, but I think sometimes it's a cop-out to do a triple threat match when it can be one-on-one. This one here, though, I'm for it. Give me Seth, Punk, and Drew And for one, we know the match will be incredible, but the story they can tell for the next 4 weeks, I'm locked into that.
Yeah, I would have wanted it spaced apart farther just because individually these two matches, Punk with Drew and then Punk with Seth, can stand months and can last months. But because SummerSlam is what the second biggest show of the year, I'm okay with seeing it. And again, I don't really care for triple matches. So for me, I don't really want to see them together. But again, the stage and and it's ripe for such a big head to head with each other because they pretty much hate Punk, like literally and figuratively. So I'll be okay with it seeing it as SummerSlam, but I wouldn't have mind seeing it as two separate story threads.
I don't know why you guys are so getting triple threats. They're not that bad, actually.
I hate triple matches.
I will say though, like this show just was really off, and then I don't know what they're doing with Damian. He just is not likable to me. Okay, he's an asshole to his team. His team that has helped him win the championship got him to this point, and he's acting like, well, he said it. They need him more than he needs them. Now, from what I've seen, fam, you're terrible. And so at this point, if the goal is for him to be a baby out of this, and the team continue to be healed, no, they have like a grievance to reason why they kick him out and they're gonna turn on him, right? Ben like, yo, I'm gonna come out. You're like, nah, keep your ass back. Like he's a terrible man. He's a terrible man. He wrestled a terrible match. He's having a terrible title reign. So this is all in the same spirit. Like I am be so happy when this belt gets off. That's another reason why I was kind of irritated too. I'm like, damn, I gotta sit through more Damian Priest on USA, and then going to Netflix, man. If y'all don't get, look, turn this man heel or something, because this man is the most dreadful baby face that I've seen in some time. I'm ready for him to go.
You guys are much lower on this match than I was. That was a very good match before the end. It was a very good match. Now, Seth lost his foot in a couple of times. I mean, that's whatever on that. But I like the story they were telling. The physicality was good. I thought it was a really good match. It was what I expected from a Seth and Damian match.
When you think of watch a good movie and then it has a shitty ending, the movie then becomes a shitty movie.
Well, you've always liked that. You've always been like that. Like the ending makes or break, which it should. But you are like really like, if that ending wasn't stuck, I'm good. I'm straight on.
Yeah, I can't watch it. Like then I can't recommend it to somebody, right? Like, hey, would you watch a movie? Yeah, it's good up until the end. No, I can't do it.
But that's a good review, though. You can say the movie was good, and then the budget was gone. The budget was done, so they had to wrap it up. I've seen too many BET. Definitely Belly. But I've seen way too many BET movies. We don't even have Tubi, so I can only imagine probably that's how it is on Tubi as well. But we've seen
Tubi,
enough
they
BET.
Never have a budget. They start minute one without a budget. You get the same shit from the start of the movie to 96 minutes later. Don't you worry about that.
And my bone to pick with our black movies. Listen, the red wine that y'all have in all of these movies is like cranberry juice and water or some type of sangria that's not even like real wine, but they try to play it off as red wine. It bothers me. It's like a juice. And again, should you be having just bottles and bottles and bottles of wine on the set if you don't have the money and budget for it? Okay, maybe not. Then go to a white wine. Don't go to a red wine. Somebody who actually enjoys a good red wine. When I see that on a wine table, on a dinner table, on a movie or a TV show,
it takes you out of it.
Details.
You feel like just like the rev box, the music box, it takes you right out of it.
Seriously,
as soon as you see the fake red wine.
Absolutely,
he's just hot. You are as hot right now. He is.
Hey, Rhodesia, I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
I'm serious about my shit. I'm serious about my wine. Okay,
Rhodesia, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I see that cheap wine, I get thirsty.
He's like Kool-Aid up. He's like, give me that
Kool-Aid. Cranberry juice, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Fuck that fake wine. Fuck that internet match. No, I'm joking. Sorry.
So we had that. Let's go to the main event first.
And the real main event or the second main event?
Let's go to what they thought was the main event.
Got it. Okay. That's gonna be okay.
That.
Yeah.
Now that match was not the best, and it wasn't even good.
We had one bright spot.
Roman's on a trajectory to be back very soon, and it's a good thing. I think Solo showed today he's got a little bit of ways to go still of being that A top hill in the ring. You can give him all the necklaces, as E would say. You can give him all
The red
smoke.
necklaces.
When it comes to the pre-tape promos, you can give him his folks in the back, which, hey, thoughts and prayers to Tonga Loa. That man thought he was back in New Japan after his head hit that table. I have never seen in my life a ass shot. He punched KO in the ass, and KO kind of like
I've seen an ass shot before, but not that kind of ass shot.
When you
Not
supposed
that
to be
kind of
doing
ass shot.
when you supposed to be doing a low blow. Thoughts and prayers to my guy Tonga Loa. I hope he's okay. But that was the
And
only bump
KO's
he took
booty.
the entire match. And then the doctor gets her.
She get
Oh,
it,
she's
Siguri.
okay. She got hit. Then the referee got hit twice. So it as bad as the match was to me, it was hilarious. So I did find entertainment in it, but there was a gap of what we are used to seeing. If you have Orton, KO, and particularly Cody Rhodes on a babyface side, I thought the Bloodline had enough heat. And yeah, we got the "fuck you" Solo chants. I get it, which was great heat. It to me, that match was missing something. And then like I was just sitting there like kind of, and it could be too because we know what's happening, right? Even we said, well, the faces got to take the pin because you can't beat Bloodline yet. You think a little bit more. You say, of course, Cody is going to take the loss to Solo because we're going to get Solo and Cody at SummerSlam. And what we're expecting is then we get Roman's music to hit and we get Roman back at the end of SummerSlam. So it feels a little too on the nose. So it's kind of hard for me to kind of really get into it. But I don't think so because there's a lot of their stories that, hey, the story makes sense. And then we go along with it and we still enjoy it. I didn't like the match at all, though. I thought, like I said, I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. But in terms of what I'm here for, this match is going to set up your main event for SummerSlam. They got to do a lot of work, in my opinion, these next 4 weeks to get the heat where it needs to get to for Solo and Cody. And maybe more importantly than that, they got to do some work and make sure that match is right to be a main event of SummerSlam.
It just was not. I expected a certain standard, especially when you come with the Bloodline. Then you mentioned what you said over there on the face side, those three heavy hitters. It almost feels like blasphemous to even say that they didn't have a good match because the people who were just even on the good side. There was two bright spots out of the entire match. Outside of that, and I'll tell that in a second. Outside of that, if I thought Seth and Damian was like kind of just off and clunky, that main event just was not it, Chief. Like I was not proud to say I'm a Bloodline person after watching that match, for whatever the reasons. But I loved KO intensity throughout the entire match. We know he's going through some stuff right now, but I thought that he looked really good in the match tonight. And also Orton put over Jacob Fatu in the beginning, allowed him to get hit with the DDT and allowed him to pop right back up. So it was a good setting of the stage of us finally seeing like Jacob in action. And again, it's against somebody who's legendary like Roman. Like Randy. For me, those are my two bright spots of it. Outside of that, if some of those things weren't happening, and like you say, you insecurity to play like click the ref or the doctor on the side and getting concussed Tangaloa, and me laughing, I would be very, very irritated at that match. It was just funny because all of those spots and mess ups. And again, it's wrestling. Just like we're going to talk about the women's Money in the Bank in a moment, which was fire. There was still some kind of clunkiness in there, but it's okay because this is them wrestling. It's not just a solos match. It is something, or singles match. Is a lot of people go in the match. There's things going on. There's props. There's outside interference and stuff. So I'm okay with that. But that match sucked. Outside of it being hilarious and those two bright spots, that should not have been anybody's main event. That was like a SmackDown main event to me.
Man, we had a nice Bloodline entrance. Then my man Cody came out there and they were singing the song. I'm like, all right, here we go. Bloodline. I'm engaged in this storyline. Cody's my guy. I'm liking what Randy Orton's doing right now. KO has always been very steady as a talent. I'm like, all right, they're going to close the show off right. And then that damn bell rang. And what a bad match that was. Oh, my God. I thought we were about to get a nice spot when Fatu got up from the DDT, but even that seemed kind of weird. I don't know. Like nothing on this show for me. The women's match was like the best thing. We haven't gotten to it yet. But nothing on this show seemed right. And I don't know what it specifically was about this night, but it just wasn't clicking. This match wasn't clicking. I was very surprised by how bad the match was, in my opinion. But maybe at some point, like I think like my expectations were so low just from actually watching the majority of the show, and probably from that Damian and Seth match, that when I got to this, I was like, okay, I've had enough. Like I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. Like this is the first show that I've seen from WWE in quite some time that I was like, man, this ain't it. This is the first Hunter PLE, even going back to NXT, and I'm like, man, this ain't it. His stuff usually really delivers, but I'm sitting here watching these matches and like this show and this night, I'm just like, man, none of this is going the way it should. I'm not that interested in seeing Monday after watching this show, to be honest with you.
Damn. Now, granted, we've only gone over 2 matches so far. We went over Seth and Damian. We kind of talked about the end more than anything else because that's what we would talk about, that big botch.
Yeah.
Then we went to the main event, which we all said we didn't like. Okay, so I get how, for me, the rest of the show is pretty much positive. And
It is,
highly positive for me. Sounds like I might be in the minority, definitely with E. But Radija, but back to your point real quick on the main event, then we can move on from it. Even Jacob Fatu, I didn't feel like was highlighted as much as he could have been. Now you don't want to show everything. I get that part of it too. But I even called it when Orton hit his move before he even popped up. I said it out loud. I was like, he's going to no-sell it, which is great for Orton to allow him to do that because that's Orton's second biggest move. Outside of that, and then outside of the top rope flip that he did, I'm just like, we didn't see him really get into it. I know it's going to come. But I put a lot of that on Solo. Fair or not. I put a lot of that on Solo.
What's Solo got to do with Jacob?
No, I'm talking about how like it just felt like the fire wasn't there in that match. There was like it was just not a great match because we've seen.
Let me ask you something, Rick. I'm gonna forget because my mind is leaving me. Because you just reminded me of that Fatu flip to Cody. That spot irritated the shit out of me, man. Because it's like because Cody had him right, and he just tossed. You know what I'm saying, Solo, so he can catch Fatu. Like, that's just one of those spots. It just looks so contrived. Like, maybe it was just me, because I'm like, at this point, like, the show just wasn't clicking to me. But, like, that right there just didn't seem like it was a realistic spot. And, like, I saw a lot of that in this match, to where stuff, it just wasn't snapping right. And I was really surprised. These are pros that was in this match, y'all.
And that's kind of my thing, was, like, the match there was nothing fundamentally wrong with the match in regards to if you just watch for like move for move, transition to transition, you say, okay, the match worked okay. It just didn't, it felt like segments of different matches put together in one match, and then they just gave it to us. That's what it kind of felt like. There was no flow to it. Like even the ref bumps, like everything about the match, there wasn't a flow to it. So,
and I think that's probably it. It wasn't a flow. And you got 7 people, 8 if you count the referee, and 9 if you
all
count
taking bumps.
the
all
doctor.
taking bumps.
Yeah. So, and you got 10, 11, the announcers moving out the way too. And Corey microphone coming off or headset coming off. But I just think it was too much going on. And when you have that, you have to have flow, because otherwise it's going to just be a train wreck. But one thing on that main event, I think I am guilty of this. I expected a surprise, because when they got the main event spot over Money in the Bank, and we know what Money in the Bank is. You have your bookends. You have usually the women first and then the men. The men went on first. So I'm like, okay, well, cool. Great. We'll have women ending it. I know that you already said that it was announced that the 6-man tag was going to be the main event. But to me, I think subconsciously, I thought that we were going to get some big grand old surprise or something other than what we got. outside of a regular SmackDown show when they got that main event spot. So to me, I think that let down. So not only do I have standards for the bloodline, now I had standards because you have the main event spot after us watching an incredible women's Money in the Bank match, and then that's how it ended. That's why why he got some nasty taste in his mouth about the show too, because I think it was just a terribly placed match. Again, if it's a
Well, it was only terribly placed because of how great the Money in the Bank matches were.
Mhm.
The reason why it was placed perfectly was because Solo pinned Cody. And that is what you want people to remember. Because remember, that match is going to main event SummerSlam.
That's fair, but
so that's why you
you
can't beat Cody in the middle of the show. You can't do that.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah, if we're going to beat our big top baby face, it's got to be at the end of the show. So from that perspective,
to put some energy into the flow.
It
of the
makes
show,
sense. Then. But in terms of the actual match itself, I was not a fan. But I was a fan. And do y'all want to talk about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match first, or the men's Money in the Bank ladder match first? Because I was a fan of both of them. Which one y'all want to talk about first?
Let's go with the women, because I think they outshined. I think that match was chef's kiss for, and again, when we talk about when there's multi people in the match and you have some ladders and you have really many different types of wrestling styles and personalities in the ring together, and them doing their own little gimmicks throughout the match as well too, being them, it's going to be chaotic. And there was a couple of times where it was like, ooh, ouch, ooch. But again, kind of like how Charlotte Flair wrestles sometimes, it's almost like an ouch, ooch. It's not as a choreographed presentation, I'll say. It looks like it could be brutal. And a ladder match is a brutal match. So for me, though, just the build up to it, us thinking Chelsea is about to get it, the spot she freaking took off the ladder, oh my God, that she set up 5 minutes before. I don't think people realize like how well they do. At least the internet wrestling community knows how great Chelsea is. But man, like Chelsea is just something else. And kind of what we all, I think, thought that Tiffy was going to win it. I just think overall that's probably was the best women's Money in the Bank match I've seen. Could be recency bias, but as of right now, I feel like that was probably my favorite.
Oh man.
Oh, he's about to shit on this too. Are you kidding me right now?
All right, go exit stage, Luffy.
Hey, actually, shout out to my boy DigiGod. Just followed us on Twitter. Appreciate you, the follow, fam. One of my homeboys from the Discord. I got to answer like when Zoe, your girl Zoe, when she
I love Zoe.
When she missed that spot. That took me out of the match for about a good.
You mean when she got concussed? You mean when
she got concussed?
Yeah. And her head on that ladder. Woo.
Man, I'm like, wow, like she I ain't never did a sling boy. I told you when I got in the ring that one time, and then I felt how hard that mat was. My man was like, "Hey, you gonna take a bump?" I hit that mat. I'm like, "Oh no, that's wood right there." I'm not today. we ain't gonna do it today, right? So I don't know nothing about ring work. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? But like she overshot her ass like a month. Like she got some really strong like arms when she just slingshot it right out. But when that happened, I'm like, oh boy, I can't watch this. So it took me out. Not because she blocked, but man, I had just seen so much from the Drew and everything, and I was just disappointed. So it took me. I actually didn't get really into the match to probably towards the end of the match, to be honest with you, because like I think I was staring at the screen too the whole time, y'all. I can't tell you what I saw. I can't tell you what I saw.
You were so disgusted in that set for Damien. You hate Damien. You hate him.
Look.
Roderick Strong, Damien. He's about to get Roderick Strong level with you.
Hey,
he's
look,
like right there.
Hey, did you guys say it took it, the Drew thing ruined the night? Hey, man, that was rough for me, man. Like, so I'm watching this move, and then when Zoe missed that spot, I'm like, okay, this is the night I'm in for right now. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. The match seemed perfectly fine. I will say, God bless Chelsea, because that was a hell of a bump.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about a spot like. From maybe because like I only remember the last couple minutes of the match, but like that spot she took was like brutal to me, man. And like she said a prayer going through the tables, and I'm glad and I hope she's okay. But we thought that Tiffy was gonna win, you know.
Yep.
And I think she's gonna be great. Tiffy in the bank. It seems like it's a title and stipulation that's made for her. So I'm interested to see what she does with it. But the match itself, man. I mean, like I said, I was out it seemed fine for the most part after that first botch.
It was much more than fine. That match was fantastic. And Rhodesia, what you picked up on was, and WWE doesn't do this often, that match was more about the danger of the spots than it was putting on pretty choreographed spots. They really showed the danger and the brutality and the physicality of a ladder match. And that doesn't happen too often. And that's not a good or bad thing. Like, how you present a ladder match is completely up to the artists themselves, but that's what you felt. You felt this is nuts. Chelsea, she had a similar bump. I can't remember, it was years ago before she was in WWE. And she hit the table. It seemed like she was going 70 miles an hour. It was something really similar to that, off a high spot to the outside. God bless her. We all love Chelsea around here.
Yeah, because she fell down like really fast and like really hard. Like it's like almost like a train wreck almost. I've never seen someone go through a table like that before.
So this one somehow it seemed like she fell slower. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe because I just saw her like go through the other one. Yeah. Try to pull it up. You'll find it. And like it was nuts. My girl, Zoe Stark, they didn't wake her up in time again. I thought they woke her up in time. Oh. That camera shot was behind her. It flipped to the front of her while she was making her entrance. I was like, damn it, she's been crying again.
You're not gonna Zoe Stark.
At that point, I knew Zoe wasn't gonna win.
No.
And I was like, all right, Zoe not gonna win. I'm still going with Tiffany, but I'm like, hey, maybe it's Naomi's time. And Naomi had that hell of a spot that she had with the splits between the two ladders. I love that. I thought that was tremendous.
Spread eagle on that one.
Hey, Ashley, now you know what?
Look now he's back now. Look, he's back now.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. I was so pissed off most of the night. I forgot that one of the few smirks I had during watching that show was that very spot.
And in split mode, she's still punching people. Like, that's pretty damn impressive.
I know what ruined it for me, because as soon as it was happening, all of a sudden, Katrina, my wife, comes strolling in, right? And so she knows what's on my mind. So now I can't look like I want to look, right? So now I got to sit there and I got to go be pissed off again, right? Because as soon as it happened, I see her eyes. Like, so I'm sitting on the couch and she's behind me. I can see her looking down like,
this was a bad night for my guy. This was a bad night. Nothing went right.
There was nothing for me.
The people he wanted to win didn't win. He couldn't see no ass. Poor E. We're going to make this up for you, brother. I promise.
Travesty.
We're going to make it up for you.
It's a travesty.
But you know what I did appreciate, though? And even with the men's match, too. I just appreciate the thought that went into these spots. Like, both matches did spots that we've never seen in a ladder match before. That's hard to do. When ladder matches now are like a dime a dozen, and you know everybody has seen a fantastic ladder match, it can be hard to still come up with spots where it makes sense and you're not killing yourself, but it is going to hurt. But you know what I mean? Like, so you're doing that whole thing. Shout out to both of them, because I thought they had some really intelligent spots in each match. And they did a great job with the story too. You know, I thought in both of them. Tiffany winning was the right call.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about that. You know, like they slowed her down because she was getting too hot. It's going to be super fun now. She said on the press conference that Trish Stratus is like one of her goats. So it makes sense of why we kind of saw their interaction backstage. Maybe we get Trish and Tiffany at SummerSlam. Trish still does not get the, I'm going to say respect, but the pops from the crowd that she should. Even in her hometown. I am kind of dumbfounded a little bit. Before I thought maybe it was just, maybe they didn't know her. Then I was like, maybe they, look at her more as a heel, but I don't get it.
She's absolutely a heel. So for cool dream match reasons, fine, you can do that at SummerSlam, and that's just, again, the stage, second biggest show of the year. Okay, you can give me that, but I wouldn't really be checking for it. Trish is absolutely always a heel to me. Like, just deep down in her core, you slice her open, she's a heel, no matter how much of a legend and a Hall of Famer she is. So for me, her going against Tiffy, I wouldn't be there for it. I'll still watch it out of respect, but I wouldn't be for it. But I also wonder too if her last run left a really nasty taste in a lot of the wrestling fans. So like part of it, like maybe they don't know who she is. And then the other part of it is maybe that last run of who they thought was Trish Stratus didn't really live up to probably what she should have. So I'm wondering if that's why she doesn't get the kind of pops that maybe she is old and dude.
The young boy on, look at him. He on mute. He going hard too. He's
Yeah.
he's like, I remember the other thing was I was still trying to look at that ass. There he is. He back.
I am going to autopilot. I don't remember putting myself on mute. To be honest with you. I don't even know. I look down like, why am I on mute? What did that happen? Like the button. Like, I have no idea what happened. So, but I was saying, like, I don't like Trish
so much.
Like, I think Trish, she was her peak run was a babyface. Like, right? Like, that's so for me, like that's I've always felt, and she was the female John Cena. I think she's a better John Cena than John Cena was, especially during her peak run. But I will say that I think there is a new crop of fans that are watching the shows now, right? Like kind of what Rock did. He had to kind of re-educate these newer audience members, right? Because these guys were on top like 20 years ago, right? So these new people coming in, they might not be familiar with their work. So if before they just say, oh, this is a legend, like, right? Everyone's cheering her. Okay, I'm a cheer her too, but they weren't really familiar with her and her work. And then she had that run with Becky. Now, I thought she had some really good heel work. I don't know. It just wasn't working. It wasn't what I think the people who knew her wanted to see from her. And like, I guess it wasn't clicking with the newer fans, whatever the case may be. The feud itself didn't click, but I thought that Trish did a good job as a heel. But I think that's who the audience knows now, is that Trish from that storyline that didn't click, like, right? And so when she was on the TV with Tiffy, I think they're like, oh, but I don't even know, man. Maybe they might have been like me, man. Cause like, look, that show was so bad up until that point. Like, it don't matter who was on the screen, you won't get a good reaction.
Man, so, I think if you guys are watching live right now on Twitter, put in the comments on Twitter what you guys thought about the overall show itself. If you guys are listening on Sunday or Monday, shoot us a message on wherever you're listening at. So we'll talk about it on next week, because I think he's in the minority. I was not a fan of the first two things we talked about, parts of it. But overall, I still thought this show was really, really good. I thought the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was tremendous. I thought the men's Money in the Bank ladder match was tremendous. My only issue up to the botch was Triple H not putting the damn IC belt on Braun Breaker.
And he fooled us. New music.
That was my issue.
New lookish.
That was my issue. I told Triple H all week, don't overthink this, Triple H.
You did.
He's right there for you. He is right there for you. Do not overthink this. We don't need a long chase. We don't need none of that. Put the belt on Braun Breaker. You put that rocket strap on him, and we are off to the races. And what the hell did we get? Not only did we not get Braun Breaker winning, we got Braun losing clean. He lost clean.
That was a 5 count, actually, if the ref kept counting. Absolutely a 5 count.
I don't understand. Triple H, do better, man. I don't understand. But the men's Money in the Bank match, we definitely gave our points about Jey Uso. I love that Drew launched the ladder into Jay's face. Got to make it look real, brother.
EC Dub style.
Got to make it look real. And if I'm going to knock you off of this and you are the one everybody wants, you got to take it. And he took that.
Let's pause here, because like you said, they did something awesome in these Money in the Bank matches where they did new things. So again, it's going to get a little more dangerous, or you got to be a little more creative. I think that needs like a moment of silence. You at the top of the ladder, and Drew throws another ladder at you.
Launched it like a javelin.
And not even the long side, so you can do this. No, the hard part. When I
you gonna take it. You can go to sleep like Zoe Stark. Jesus, Zoe. You know the bad.
But who thought of that? Who thought to throw a ladder at somebody at the top of the ladder?
I was like, what you talking about? Which part of Zoe? You talking about like?
I just told you already. We're not about to bash her. We're not bashing her at all.
Oh no, it's not. We're not bashing, because she took arguably outside of Chelsea. She took 2 of the worst spots in that ladder match.
She did. Yeah, I agree.
That's got to count for something.
I don't know
what her trajectory is going to be at SummerSlam, but as long as she gets a good, nice rest, and they don't wake
Okay.
her up right before her segment,
what I would
she's
say
gonna be
in
fine.
the men's money in the bank, what I love was some of the spots in it. Of course, I'm the spot queen. I love spots. So you talk about the throwing the ladder to Jay's face. That would be a reason why Jay wouldn't win Money in the Bank. So when you think of like, hey, Jay's in the Money in the Bank and he's not winning, right? What is the reason why Jay didn't win? I think that is actually a fair reason of why Jay didn't win. He had a whole ladder thrown at him at the top. So I would agree with that. But that Gable, was it like a belly to belly suplex to LA Knight out the ring? That was pretty impressive. I didn't even think that he would have been able to clear it. Again, fooled me. He threw him right up out the ring. Again, LA Knight, he ain't winning either. No one thought that he was going to win. At least I don't think anybody here thought he was going to win. But they got to do something with him too. Unless again we're waiting for is it official him and Logan at SummerSlam? I can't remember. I know we're thinking that.
Come on, LA Knight, right? No, but
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but yes.
But yeah, that belly to belly over the top rope, that was sick to me. And a powerbomb Andrade did to Carmelo.
All of it. It was some great spots in that match. Yeah, some great spots in that match.
So it definitely set the tone for the night. For me, of it to be a good show, I thought this PLE was a good PLE. I don't think it was a great one. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was just okay or average. I think it was just I thought it was a good PLE.
You know, I forgot that you guys watch movies strangely, right? Because like you guys like Matt's a big audio guy, and we have another friend that's like that too. They'll pick spots from movies that have like great sound quality or video
called demos,
like
baby.
And so they'll say a movie is good because of those clips and scenes, but the movie itself is probably mediocre. But those scenes were amazing, and that's what you had in this pay-per-view. This POE, I keep saying old school pay-per-view. It had like little spots that were good, but the actual POE in its entirety and the story they told was terrible. So yes, the men's match was really good. Like, right, the match was really good. A lot of great spots. And when I watched the match, I actually thought, I'm like, man, I'm really engaged in a lot of guys in this match. Like LA Knight, I like him. I think Carmelo's on the way up. Man, Jey Uso, what an interest. Like, man, like I know he's losing, but I really wish he can win. I like, Drew. I like Drew. Like, I want him to win too. Like, I want him to tell that story as well. One person in the match I didn't necessarily care for was Andrade. Didn't know why he was there. I don't know why Triple H won't put Zelina back with him, give him a mouthpiece. Like, I don't get it. But you give us that really good match. Drew wins the Money in the Bank. Then moments later, he gets involved in that horrible match, right? Take the blotch spot out of it, right? Take the blotch spot out of it. Punk comes out and he costs him the win, just as Matt predicted. But now you think like, man, all right, you like they just ruined a Money in the Bank briefcase for that one moment. Like, right?
They didn't ruin it, brother. But go ahead.
Because here's the quite honest with you. No one's gonna remember this specific thing like in a couple months, right? But now we don't have like a whole year's worth of like storyline from somebody eventually cashing in. Maybe it's Jay, right? And Jay can go on a whole thing like, hey, like I'm challenging the next. I'm actually challenging somebody at a pay-per-view, whatever it might be, right? He don't have to cash in, do the sneaky way like a lot of the Dashly Hills do, whatever. Or you can go that same route, which is very try. Like it happens all the time, like a Carmelo or somebody like that. They went in and they're always trying to sneak attack somebody, trying to cash in, like Damian has done for most of the year. But you don't have any of those storylines you're doing like in one night gone. One night gone just to fuel a feud that would go to the same place without that moment. Like, to me, it was a total waste. They set it up, it was a total waste. And now for a whole nother year, we don't have a Money in Bank, like, cheating. And like, for me, I always liked that. I always liked the heel that had the briefcase and when are you gonna get in there and when it always kind of made somebody typically.
You got it with Tiffy, baby. You got it with Tiffy. She'll do that for you.
I would say that I don't mind at all that happening tonight because of what sparks we're going to get and fireworks we're going to get with Drew, Punk, Seth, or any combination of that. we didn't need a male Money in the Bank this year. At least for me, I get your point as far as you like that little slimy person who's always trying to tempt somebody about to cash it in. But for me, it gets kind of stale. Especially because we just came off of Damien having it forever too. So for me, I don't think we needed the men in Money in the Bank, especially since we had King of the Ring happening as well. We said this a few months ago, like, are you going to try to like bury one of the winners, whether the King of the Ring or the Money in the Bank champion? So for me, I'm okay with him losing it, and I think that that builds even more heat and passion to again that trio and however we get it. I'm okay with it.
But we were going to get that heat and passion regardless of this moment. This is actually going to be one of the things that honestly you're going to forget about in the course of the feud anyway, because like this with them, like these Punk, Drew, Seth, if he's included, let's just keep Seth out of it. Let's just say if it's Punk and it's Drew, they've been heating up themselves and on the microphone this entire time. They didn't need something like that to add more fuel to it. Like if this was maybe Andrade and LA Knight, okay, you might need a little something for LA Knight to be extra mad at Andrade, something like that. But those two guys, those performers, those heat seekers, they didn't need something like this to fuel that feud.
All right, E, so I got a question for you then. So if none of those 6 guys are going to be world champions in the next 12 months, say we stick to what you want to do, who do you have winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, knowing they're going to lose when they cash in?
I'm not entirely convinced that somebody like on the Raw champion, I don't think it's set in stone like maybe Cody on SmackDown is, right? Because Cody on SmackDown, there's stories to be told.
Gunther gonna beat the shit out of Priest at SummerSlam. He holding that to WrestleMania. I think that's already set in stone, to be honest. I do. But let's say I'm only going off of facts now. Like Triple H showed his hand tonight. There is no plan for the Money in the Bank briefcase. But now you get to book it. Who would you, out of those 6, I think it was 6, yeah, who would you have put the briefcase on knowing that they're not going to win the championship?
So give me a Jey Uso or a Carmelo. I picked Carmelo and disqualified Jey only because I think he's going to get involved in the bloodline thing, and that's going to tie up his time, right? So like however long that's going to be, he's going to get kind of, and that might be a discredit for him because he's doing well on his side, doing his own thing. And so for him to kind of get drug into a family feud, that kind of takes him back another notch, right? Because now he's not just me, right? It's just us again. All right. He's going to be with Jimmy. He's going to be with Roman. And, he's going to not, I don't want to say he's going to be a side fiddle to Roman, right? But Roman is going to be the alpha in that group. Like right here, he's just so large of a personality. Now Jay can be right there with him, but it's going to kind of be like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, right? And that's why Macho Man turned on him eventually. He's like, man, I can't be bigger than this man. He got jealous, trying to take my woman, but he wasn't really. It just becomes a thing. Maybe they might go that route. But I'm like, all right, so Jay's going to be in the bloodline feud. All right, I guess he's out of the title picture. Give it to Carmelo. Let Carmelo be an undeserving champion. Like, I don't necessarily see Gunther being this super dominant Raw champ. Maybe he might be. I just don't see him dominating as a world champion if he becomes the world champion like he did the IC title. But I definitely could see like Carmelo being that edge type of heel, right? This that swarmy, undeserving, champion. He got in there because he pinned, like, right, it could be Gunther wrestling broke ass Damian Priest. And, he pins Damian Priest ass, and all of a sudden, Almost comes out of nowhere. And I'm just fantasy booking. Almost comes out of nowhere.
Big time you are. If you brought up Omos, you definitely fantasy booking. We ain't seen that brother.
Oh yeah.
In 5 years.
Because
you playing 2K over there.
I want to get my. Oh, it's happening too. It's happening. I'm setting up my universe too, y'all. That's another whole nother episode. That's a whole nother episode. But I want to see my boy MVP back on my TV, right? Then they come out there, Almost comes out, and he tosses Gunther, and then Carmelo slides in there, and he gets the pin. Like, now he's an undeserving champion for a little while. I mean, I just feel like there's stories like that's evolved that can be told on the Raw side, because on SmackDown, we know what it is. We got a long running storyline, the best storyline in the business, in history of the business, the bloodline going.
You know, I mean, I get that, but I was only going off of you can't put the belt on Melo. So even so, I think you would still have Melo just lose. But you said to Rhodesia that we're going to forget about this with Priest and Punk. I don't think so, because I think WWE is going to make sure they remind us that this was the start of Bruce Campbell's back.
They're gonna
You know,
do a lot of editing,
you can't.
man.
No, you can't show it.
A lot of editing.
They're just gonna have Cole to tell us. They can't show it.
They gonna have Dwayne on there, and he gonna break it down. what it is we were supposed to see to make this thing right. The documentary's coming next month,
and we about to give our quick thoughts about the documentary too after we finish this up. But the reason why I brought that up, and shout out to Derek, our guy Derek chimed in on.
Shout out to Derek, man.
Yeah. He said he gives the pay-per-view 7 out of 10. He said he was kind of mad that Triple H went the Drew winning the Money in the Brave Beef case, then losing it on the same night. Hey, Derek, you need to listen and watch the TFW podcast. I know you do, but maybe you missed that episode when I told you exactly how it was going to go. Then you wouldn't have been mad. He said he could have made Jay win Yeet in the Bank or even LA Knight, in the Bank, but he went the Drew route. Like,
yeah,
why?
in the bank. I like that.
Waste of a cash in my opinion. And that's the point. Get it off the table. Because with the main event, where the card, the way it is, you don't need it. But you talked about, I'm going to ask both of you. So this is so far what is looking like SummerSlam. And this is why I think even more you may need to do Seth, Punk, and Drew. So it looks like we got Cody and Solo. We agree with that, right? That's probably going to be the main event?
Sure.
Okay, or one of the matches. You got Nia and Bayley.
Okay.
You got Priest and Gunther, which they got 4 weeks to figure out who's the face and heel in that, because what in the hell?
Got it.
And then you have Punk,
LA Knight.
Seth, and Drew is what we think. And you got LA Knight.
And Logan Paul.
Yep, Logan Paul. Those are the matches that we think are basically like set in stone. We need something else. And so? Maybe that something else is making that triple threat match a triple threat match. That's going to help. But some of those matches, granted, they got 4 weeks. Some of those matches don't tell me a second biggest show of the year.
Of course not. I mean,
it shouldn't be. Of course not.
No,
but that could be why E is having such a nasty taste in his mouth with this show. If this show is to set up that show, I just gave you like the top 4 or 5 matches, and you say, of course, those matches don't sound like the second biggest show of the year. Well, maybe 2 + 2 = 4 in this equation.
Well, considering the first one that you said was Cody versus Solo, again, I'm not saying that a singles match is going to be reflective upon the behavior and the history of that 6-man's tag, but that ain't it what we saw tonight for the main event. So, and those same 2 people were 2 of the 11 people that was in that match. So for me, if that is what we got and we only 4 weeks away, hell no. Because again, you have Cody at the top. If he put on something like that with Solo, again, that will not be SummerSlam worthy.
We could do a Tungaloa low blow match. First person to do a low blow properly wins.
No, I am not taking any fisting from Tungaloa.
That's another thing we're doing in 2K.
No,
book that match, E. Let me know who wins that match.
He fisting people. You probably need to stop.
Listen to the disrespect on this show, man. Like Cody is the reason for the blotch nut shot, and you know what I'm saying. And he didn't what's going on here? Cody, he wasn't a problem in that match, man. He wasn't a problem at all in that match. And why wouldn't that SummerSlam be it? Because this is what we got to come to grips with, right? Like John Cena is finally retiring. I thought the man was already retired, to be honest with you, along with this the ball spot.
That's
Roman
rude.
ain't gonna be around.
Talking about a man hereditary issue.
Look, I get it. Look, get some Rogaine. It works. Trust me.
This man is still talking about Cena's ball spot.
Maybe he's tried. Maybe he's tried though. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe
he gotta be consistent. He gotta put
maybe
it in twice.
Maybe
he gotta put it in twice, or he can do some plugs. But these are the main events we're gonna have for the next couple of years, right? Roman ain't gonna be around like that, right? So you got Solo. You got Cody, and Cody he's selling out. He's doing quite well for WWE. WWE's never been as hot as they've been, and he's a big part of that. Solo is probably the biggest bad guy or heel they have in the company right now. Bloodline up until this night was doing everything right, like right on SmackDown.
Sure. Yeah.
He's already said that. Look, Roman, you out of here, man. You failed. I'm here now, right? And he was up until this match. That was a bad match. Hoping it's a bump in the road, right? We hit the reset button on Friday, but then you got Punk and you got Drew. They've been battling for quite some time. Punk is still a ratings guy. The crowd still likes him. Drew is Drew. Drew is a hell of a talent. Just those two matches alone can carry a SummerSlam. These guys are on these shows right now, along with Gunther. When he challenging for the Raw Championship, these are the guys that are going to be carrying this company for the next couple of years. Braun Breaker, another one. So we're already saying that these guys headlining and running these shows aren't enough. Then you saying that WWE is in trouble?
Never said that, brother.
Because that's what we're saying right now. Because these guys and these matches are big time, and they're going to be carrying.
Yeah, I didn't say that at all, man.
But these are no. Listen to me and hear me clearly. These are the guys. These are the guys.
What does that mean,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the first show, the second show, the third show. These are the guys. So if they're not must see for SummerSlam, they're not must see for anything. Then
no, it's not the people. It's the matchups. Like I brought up Bayley and Nia. They have 4 weeks to heat it up. They haven't done anything to really heat that up. Is what I'm saying. That's one of their marquee matches right now. We have Gunther and Priest. Yeah, we know Gunther played the sideline. He's like, I ain't taking no bumps for free for no reason for the next month. They've done nothing so far. Yes, they have 4 weeks, but I'm saying them together right now, I don't care about seeing that match. I don't know who I'm supposed to cheer for in that match right now. I got a feeling who I'm going to cheer for by the time it's all said and done. That's going to be Gunther, and I think that's probably the way they're going somehow, some way. But that's all I'm saying. I'm saying they got 4 weeks to tell these stories to get us invested into what this is, because 4 weeks before Mania, we were invested in the top matches. And all I'm saying is right now, and yeah, that's without whatever they're doing with EO and Damage Control. That is without Jade and Bianca. That is without Jey Uso in the match. So I'm not saying that the card will be bad. I'm saying from what we know right now that we feel like is pinned into SummerSlam, you may need that triple threat match to make sure that you lock it in and say, yep, this is our second biggest show of the year.
That was just my point. For me, those big shows, this is all about the box art. It's all about who's on the box art for those shows.
Jey Uso was on the box art for Money in the Bank.
Hey, and we was there for him. But it's all about, and what I mean by that, it's about who's on the box art, right? Like those are what sells the show, so they can figure everything out.
You're talking about the big people, like your stars.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Gotcha. Yeah, it's like the old WrestleMania, matchup when it was Hogan and Andre, right? That's what you remember, Hogan and Andre, right? But you also remember, Steamboat. And then, Macho Man, because that match came out of nowhere, right? But you don't remember anything else from that card, though. Like, right? Like, SummerSlam is going to be a two-headed monster, and they're going to fill everything else in. Now, we're going to talk about Bayley. Like, Bayley's run has been kind of
been low on,
and it's been under low, and it hasn't been controlled since she had it. And I like Bayley. I like Bayley a lot.
No, you don't.
I like Bayley a lot.
Anybody listen to the show? I don't like her dogging my girl out. Our guy Marvanger said, I don't know, man. He said, I think Solo beats Cody at SummerSlam, and then Roman comes back at the end. He said that's the only thing saving that show. Oh, man. Solo beating Cody at SummerSlam? Now, granted, you got to figure out a way to bring Roman back, for sure. You can't put spoiler alert, Solo's not beating Cody because he just pinned him tonight. Same way last year when they had Jay pin Roman, and I was like, that's a great moment. Jay will always go down as the first person to pin Roman in 2 years, but now we know he's not winning next month at SummerSlam because he just pinned him. So there's a 0% chance Solo beats Cody at SummerSlam, but they do have to figure out why Roman would come back. If he loses, why would he come back? So
yeah, it's shit, man. I mean, who knows where they go? Because let's talk about that for a split second before we switch gears, though. That main event, let's say that's the last match of the show. Cody beats Solo clean. Roman Reigns comes back to beat this man. Like, right? But Cody's already conquered the big bad. So what is Roman coming back to do? Like, right, the big
Roman-
bad's already been conquered.
Maybe Roman comes back to get his necklace. Yeah,
Just to get the red necklace back? That's all he coming back
because
for?
you
'Cause he
said
lost.
you were the
'Cause then he
guy,
lost.
and if you
Yep.
lose,
Yep.
I don't think that hits the same. Like, he needs to
No, it hits
come
the
back
same.
when, like, he needs to come back when shit's all bad, and this is the worst thing that's happened. Like, and I don't want to wait till this long because it looks like it's going to take a little bit of time, because we know Jay didn't win because they're keeping him to the side for this story, because Roman's got to do some big time kissing ass to Jay. I mean, Jay just made a comment last week on Raw about what did he say? I forgot what he said about his no good family or something like that. I was like, he still ain't over it. All right, well, Roman gonna have to figure something
how
out.
he didn't want to smoke with the Wyatts.
Yeah, like, so that's still a thing. Like, in the perfect world, I would want Roman to come back as like the knight in shining armor, saving everybody. You know, like Jay is laid out, you know, Jimmy's laid out, Sammy's laid out. That's what I would want. I don't think we're going to get that. I think evidently now
they're like, somebody,
Roman.
anybody, help!
Yeah, right. But I don't think we getting that now.
That's
I think we get Roman back
movie.
first, and then I think he's got to put everybody back together. And this cannot be a thing. He just shows up in front of Jimmy and Jay and they all hug. No, I want to see weeks of Roman trying to get back and apologizing and repairing the relationship. And will he, won't he? Like, that's what I want. And Jay is a big enough star now where he deserves that. Jay now deserves, after Roman comes back, for him to save Roman months from now and get that huge pop. That's what Jay deserves.
Yeah, Jay changed it, because I was about to say, no, I don't think Roman needs to come back and do anything outside of him just coming in and doing a save and helping them. I don't think he needs to be kissing ass to anybody, but out of respect for Jay and what he has ascended to, you're right. It has to be more than that, because again, he's the man. And if Roman saves him one time, that is not going to make up for what he put him through.
I wouldn't see the redemption of Jimmy Uso. Like, you know what I'm saying? He is too good of a guy and too good of a talent to be like background.
To be the no yeet guy?
Yeah, just to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Tangaloa.
he can't be Tangaloa.
He can't be Tangaloa. No, he's not. He
Tangaloa.
could definitely throw a good low blow. He's definitely not a Tangaloa.
He would have got all up in those balls. Pause.
Hey, that's good to see. He coming back at hour 6. You know, he's been back for a while.
I'm about to
He's
go
been back
home
about
now.
25 minutes.
I'm about to go home now.
He's been back about 30 minutes. My guy. All right. So overall thoughts about Money in the Bank. Then we can move to our quick thoughts about the Mania doc. I'm giving it 1 thumb up. Typically, I'll do 2 thumbs up. This is 1 thumb up for me, and that was because of the work. If we looked at the finishes of the matches, I mean, I call the Damian one and Drew, but hated Braun not winning. We knew Solo had to pin Cody, but it's still like. And last thing for me, I'll ask you guys, but I figured out, I think you were talking about Solo and that whole thing. I think it's because we know that's not the North Star. It's Solo and Cody. Nobody cares about Solo and Cody. We know it's Solo and Roman. And they made it that way a week ago on SmackDown when he basically put the necklace on and kind of said, like, Roman's not the guy anymore. I'm the guy. Acknowledge me. As soon as that happened, it was all about Roman Reigns. It was no longer about Cody. So all this fodder that they're doing, and like, I know we just can't always just jump to the match, but no matter what they do in the next 4 weeks, we are going to be looking at when that bell rings at the end of SummerSlam, we're going to be looking at the aisle like, all right, come on, Roman. No matter what they do in the next 4 weeks, they got to figure out a way to overcome that. And if they can't overcome it, they got to figure out a way to mask this better than they've masked anything else in the world.
I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. And I only gave it the edge. It probably was going to be in the 6s, but we did get to see John Cena. And again, he is my second face on that Mount Rushmore. So for me, I'm going to give it a 7. And it's on Saturday night. It's not Sunday night. I don't have to go to work in the morning. So for me, that.
Oh no! Then you get this show a 4. If you got to talk about the night it's on, and they've been running Saturday
true,
though. For a year,
but it's a reality though.
No.
It is a reality.
Right.
It's a reality.
Okay,
it's a
I think your numbers be closer to what he's about to give us.
No, I don't think so. But I'm gonna give it a 1.
Damn.
I'm gonna give it a 1. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 1 middle finger. Show was horrible.
Hey, look. So then, at the end of the day, E, what is the number one thing that makes you give that show a 1? You got to pick only one. What is that one thing that just puts you over the top?
The Drew and Seth match.
I thought he was gonna say when it started.
No, what was it? It was
Money in the Bank. It was the men Money in the
Yeah, that
Bank.
was actually a good match.
Mhm.
That was a good match, and I was okay with Drew winning. To be honest with you, I'm like, okay, I can see him doing his thing.
And we skipped over it, but Brian and Sammy was a really good match too.
That was a good match.
I was okay.
Yep. And I was okay with Brian, losing the match because I think that creates more of a unhinged dog off the leash because he's a young guy.
Course. Yeah.
And he's a heel talking about I seen some stuff online. Oh yeah, his career is over. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like,
are you serious?
Like, he's a heel.
That's great.
He could get his heat back. He's a heel.
Monday. He can do it Monday in the first 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah, he's not Goldberg. He wasn't a babyface like Goldberg, and his aura was predicated on him winning. Like, no, he was like Kaiser was whooping on that tail a couple of Raws ago. Like, he definitely could take a loss. So I was fine with that. It didn't go south for me until that damn Drew and Seth match.
and then after that
botch finish.
Okay, all right, look, okay, so E.
And
okay, so
ending.
now,
oh my God.
E, so look, we're at the botch. Okay. Right before the botch happens, Seth hits the move. He goes for the cover. At that point, what was your score for this PLE from 1 to 10? The botch hadn't happened yet. The pin hadn't even happened yet. What was your score?
There wasn't a pin.
I was at
8. Damn.
I was at 8.
Okay, all right. So now we got So now we got the botch. We got the botch. What's your score? We haven't got to the we haven't got to the cashing yet. We only at the botch. What's your score?
I'm at a 6 now.
Okay, so now you drop 2. Now you hear Drew McIntyre's music. Before he cashed in, where are you at? You know where it's going. Where are you at that point?
I'm still at a 6.
Okay, so you're still at a 6. Cash in fails. Where you at?
I'm at a 5.
Okay. Where are we at the beginning of the main event?
Oh, I'm at the 1 at this point.
You said
you at what?
I'm at the 1 at this point.
So you're already at the 1. So no matter what the main event would have done, you was at that 1.
I was already irritated.
That's fantastic. I love you for that.
And actually, now I think the Zoe's blotch. I think I probably could have got out of it a little bit, but then I'm like, oh shit, okay, I gave up.
I actually think I added, like my thumb may have been kind of like 3/4. It went up because of the comedy in the main event. It is.
I wasn't supposed to.
The 11-person main event
wasn't supposed to be comedy, man, but it's still entertainment.
The 11-person main event.
Hey, look, you mentioned everybody taking bumps. Like Ian took a random bump. My 6-year-old took a random bump
during the show.
Yeah, man, he just
shout to the legend.
Flat back, man. I'm like, I got so irritated. I'm like, you don't get your little butt up and go downstairs. What are you doing?
Was he watching with you?
No.
Oh, so he just bumped for no reason.
So did he have an accident or he's bumping?
I guess, man. I don't know what happened.
No, he's Carlito.
Like,
remember Carlito did the bump on the table a little bit ago?
He broke his spine for no reason.
Hey, has he used that move since? Has he used that move since?
My man, he's back playing 2K now. They was like, look, you want to do that dumbass move? You go turn on your PS5. You go play that. Yeah. That's what you do.
He can't even put on any fitted shirts because his back hurts so bad. He can't put on a loose black tee.
He ruined that finisher because like Carmelo did in the match. I'm like, he did a Carlito.
Same, all right, let's do it and we'll wrap up. WrestleMania doc. There has been some hilarious memes out there with The Rock. What was your guys' thoughts on the Mania doc from this past Wednesday?
I'll be quick. I just didn't like it. I felt like it disrespected me. I felt like it disrespected the fans of WrestleMania 40. Blame whoever you want to blame. I know everybody's blaming Rocky, so be it. We even said once it didn't come out on that Wednesday after Mania and Rocky was on top of it, you knew he was going to change some things up. But I also didn't feel like it made him the brightest light either. I just thought that I had to watch it twice. The first time I fell asleep watching it, and so I had to go back and watch it again. I felt like I really didn't get much out of it, and I just felt like I was so hyped for a true behind the scenes doc that it it just didn't. This was the things that I was kind of already thinking of. It was already kind of rumored. The only thing that stood out to me that has really nothing to do with WrestleMania was just more of Rock kind of really knowing what was, or showing his hand that he kind of knew what was happening with WWE. And I remember a couple years ago he had did some tweet that said that this is going to be like the biggest year, he's going to change the industry, something like that. That it sounded like maybe he knew what he did know, that WWE was going to get acquired, but also probably knowing what he would be after they got acquired by TKO. He kind of showed his hand there that he kind of knew what was going to happen ahead of time. But that was just on the business side of things. For Mania, I just think it was just a disservice to us as fans, really trying to find something that was behind the scenes. And it just seemed like it was not really authentic and genuine anymore. I got nothing from it.
Yeah, I didn't get anything from it either, actually. I was very bored listening to it. Like, I was actually listening to it as I was getting dressed for work. And I was kind of falling asleep for some reason. I'm like, damn, why am I getting sleepy? So I paused the recording, and then my energy came back. And I pressed play again, and I got tired.
Y'all are on one today, man.
Like,
Yo,
so I
no more
couldn't,
post
like,
shows
so,
for us.
So then I paused it again because I had to get the kids ready, right? And I got the energy back because I'm helping the kids out. So I hit play, and all of a sudden my eyes are getting heavy again. But I guess, The Rock says, like, he just created the biggest heel character in history of the business, right, with the Final Boss character. But he presented himself as the biggest baby face in the business because he knew the pulse of the audience. He said that he knew he can truck through, right? And he can give us the Rock and Roman. And he knew people who don't watch wrestling. And he said that. I'm like, man, he's talking right. Like, people who don't watch the show, they're here Rock and Roman, and they're like, okay, maybe I'll check that out, right? But he knew that the fans that actually watch the product, that are invested in today's product, wanted a specific match, and he wanted to give that to the audience. Man, you got to kudos to Rock, man. Like, he's the big baby face. He gave us the Cody Finn story. He gave it to us. Thank you, Rock.
I do think watching it, we knew it, but watching it, probably the biggest thing I got from the production was you could never take this away from Cody. We literally had an opportunity to see Rock Roman, and Cody interrupted that. Who in the hell would have thought 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 3 years ago, we have the opportunity to get Roman Reigns versus The Rock at a WrestleMania, and Cody Rhodes is the reason why we don't get it? Come on, man. So shout out to him. Like, that's something that you can never take from him. No matter how the rest of his career goes, which I think he'll be fine, of course. I think he'll be more than fine. He's going to go down as one of the GOATs in WWE. I do believe that. But no matter, even say if that doesn't happen, you can't take that from him. I was much higher on the doc than you guys were. I loved it. We actually left. So Dynamite ended. We went to Dynamite Live. We'll give our thoughts on the next pod on how that was. Great show. But Rampage starts, and I'm like, come on, let's go. We can go now. I can get home and watch the doc. So we left Rampage to go watch the doc. But the production of it, of course, I thought was tremendous. I enjoyed the peek behind the curtain. I enjoyed knowing that the Rock Brahma Bull Fire entrance came together in a week. I enjoyed watching them talk about how his entrance evolved. I enjoy hearing from Roman a little bit in regards to just the build of it. And I think there's a reason why they didn't use a lot of him. I think they're holding a lot of his footage for when his thing hits. Whatever that is for him, whenever that thing hits, I think is going to blow us away as Roman Reigns Bloodline fans. Loved hearing from Cody and the realness of, from his perspective, of how this all went. Of course, Rock had to put a little bit of razzle dazzle on his thoughts on how that went, because he could have trucked through.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to, he could have. And he would have got away with it. Because how much bullshit did we go through with Vince McMahon back in the day, where Vince McMahon trucked through it with a horrible ass storyline and he got away with it. So I do give Rock credit for that. Now, I don't give him credit for just being this holier than thou guy that said, let's do this, because that was the plan already. The plan was already Roman Cody. But I do give him credit for saying, you know what, the pivot can't happen and it should happen, because he could have stopped it. overall, I enjoyed it though. I really did enjoy it. I don't know if I had any big takeaways from it because we knew a lot of it. I mean, just from us being so tightly knit into, the inside of wrestling.
But that was a disappointment, though. That was a disappointment. I thought we were going to get some untold stories about what happened, or, I don't want to say what really went down or anything like that. Maybe it went down the way they said it went down, but there was no big, reveals from watching it. Right? It was a lot of what you expect, and you got some of the. I know you're like that. You like that. It's like you like that extra stuff, like the sound stuff, right? Like the making of, like that, those type of things. Like, so you like that kind of stuff, but like that's what it kind of was, like the making of, right? It wasn't like it wasn't like a a reveal
expose
about
like
it wasn't that. It was just it's like that's when like it was the making of, like it's the making of whatever it was, right? But maybe I expected more from it. And that's me. I actually I wasn't really that interested in watching it because I don't watch a lot of documentaries. So for me to take my time out for an hour and I didn't get any juicy tidbits,
I do think, I tell you the biggest epiphany I had watching it in the most respectful way possible. Rock is the biggest belt mark in the history of life.
I was about to mention that.
That man sees a belt. He got to hold it. He got to take a photo with it. And I mean, but that's awesome. Like, that's incredible that it still means that much to him, no matter if he was giving it, by whoever's family, or it was somebody, Bob Backlund's old belt and he saw it and he wanted to take a photo of it. But he is an absolute mark of wrestling history and belts. But that's who you want as like one of the big head guys of your company. You want somebody who can correlate and really see
passionate about that stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I give that a thumbs up. But I'm guessing you don't.
Oh, I'm a belt guy, man. I like the belt stuff. Like, 'cause I'm a belt guy too. I just can't afford them.
I call it Data Incomplete. That was the documentary.
That was yours?
Yeah,
still
Data
searching?
Incomplete.
I know something you better afford. You found out today, sir, with that incredible Metro Boomin and Cody Rhodes promo commercial. Your neck of the woods in October, buddy.
I know.
October 5th.
But then my heart sunk down because, like, you know what? I just got finished saying that, because we're going to Florida next week.
Okay.
And I had to do the fast pass, right? Then they dropped $1,000 on these.
Yes, sir.
The fast pass is double the price. It's like, really?
And I got to do it, man. I can't stand, like, it's going to be hot. I can't do all that standing out there, man. I'll be irritated as shit. So I had to do it, right? So I'm thinking, okay, we can get the tickets in August. I can re-up. No. They told me today during the course of the show, them tickets go on sale July 19th.
2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to re-up, sir.
Wait. The week after I come back from this trip.
Yeah, buddy.
So hey, we're gonna be there for a whole week. So this money I just spent, right, on the Airbnb and the tickets and the travel. I ain't all the money I'm gonna spend when I get there. So you mean tell me a week later I gotta follow up and I gotta get 4 tickets? And I can't do just to be in the building tickets. I gotta get some nice tickets.
Of course, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Maybe I can, get a 5th job or something. And
you Jamaican? Jamaican be crazy. Well, you got to be in there 27 years to the day since the last one.
Sheesh.
So, but yeah. So we got to kind of figure that out. All right, y'all.
Maybe they can give us some tickets. Maybe some people can sponsor some tickets for us. How
hell
about
yeah.
that?
Somebody.
Yeah, do that. Do that for us. Do that for us.
Hey, look.
I need to do a GoFundMe.
This guy will find a way to put E in something. You got to respect it. I love the marketing. The marketing mind was all him. And that Jay-Z line, marketing mind, the marketing, whatever was me. That's E. Yeah. E gonna find a way. See, he may hate what he talking about, but he gonna find a way to put the letter E into what he talking about. You gotta respect it, man. Well, we out of here. Unless y'all got something else. Y'all got anything else that's on your hearts that you want to talk about?
Nope.
We got another 3 minutes.
Nope.
If we wanted it.
Nope.
We're gonna follow just to let you guys follow up. If you're new freaks to the show,
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna get more of Matt and Rhodesia next week while Big Daddy is on vacation.
He's gonna be on vacay. We are
Uh-oh.
going to. It's gonna be two of us.
I get real freaky now.
Yeah, 2-man power trip. Next
I'm a
Wednesday
lady.
we may be 42 minutes of fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? It may be 5 minutes of Raw, and then somehow we get back to talk about fucking, and then the AEW recap. That
Man,
may
this
be
is
our
horrible.
entire show next
Look,
week.
I might have to. I still gotta wake up and edit the show, so I might have to wear a condom just to edit the damn show. every morning. This is ridiculous.
We out of here on that one. Follow us on Twitter. That's FNW. YouTube. That's Freaking Wrestling. Thank y'all for listening. We love y'all. We will see y'all in a few days. Peace.